is the Next Level Loan Officers podcast. To learn more about Next Level Loan Officers, go to becomnl.com.
Hey, this is Frazier with Lead Pops and Next Level, and I'm proud to present this episode of the Next Level Loan Officers podcast. Lead Pops is the industry's only future-proof growth solution. You can check us out at leadpops.com.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Next Level Loan Officers podcast. And we say this, we mean it, we know it to be true. The number one podcast for loan officers by loan officers. My name is Shane Kidwell, one of the founders with my friend, my brother, and my co-founder, Sean Zalmanoff. What's happening, Sean?
Oh, man, it's just a beautiful day, beautiful start to the year. I'm excited to be at the spot that we are in our industry, to be building what we can in a time that's actually allowing us to build. And we're going to talk a lot about that today.
You know, I was going to ask you because you said it's a great day, and I was going to pick on you because we pick on each other a lot. And I was like, man, what's your definition of a great day in Missouri in January?
Well, I got to wake up at the crack of dawn this morning. I was out working out with my buddies at 5 a.m. outside. I mean, it was it was probably the coldest 35 degrees I've ever felt in my life. We have some severe northerly winds that were blowing in. I've worked out in 20-degree weather that was warmer than today. But I got to do, there's 40 of us this morning. So it was a great start to my day. My kids had a good morning, and tomorrow they go back to school. And so
that's key. That's key, isn't it?
That's, the John Maxwell was good this morning. The Daily Stoic was good this morning. I got my head right before I came in. And when I got into the office, I wrote a couple letters of gratitude. And I'm just in a good spot. That's my definition of a great start to the day.
I knew you were going to say something along those lines. And what I wanted to start this off with, it's completely off topic from what we're going to share today. But I was in San Diego with my wife this past weekend, and the weather was un-San Diego-like. It was more like the best day that we'd ever have in Seattle in January, but like the worst day you could have in San Diego. And as I'm sitting there and it's 55, 60 degrees in San Diego, and it's actually raining, and I'm kind of feeling sorry for myself for like 1 second, I said to my wife, you know what's funny? San Diego's worst day would be Seattle's best day. And that's exactly what you just demonstrated, is like, it's all about the mindset, right? Because for you, you're like, man, it was cold 35 with 40 dudes there. What a blessed day. Whereas most people get like, oh, it's 35, my bones ache. And so the challenge to the room is, are you the type of person that has the best day, or are you the type of person that has the worst day? Because you're both living in the same experience. I'm sitting in San Diego and it's 55 degrees. And I luckily caught myself and said, oh my gosh, if we had 55 degrees in January in Washington, I'd be outside in shorts and flip-flops running laps. But it's a mindset thing, right? So I just want to challenge the room with that. And now I want to really dig into it. Like, what I'm excited about is a really good topic, and it's getting back to basics, right? Because, you know, a lot of times in our industry and sales in general and being an entrepreneur in general, what's old is new and what's new is old. Right? Like, everybody's always trying the newest technology, the newest quick fix to generate leads, to circumvent communicating authentically with your clients, to try to get more done in less time. Everyone's doing that, right? The reality is, when you look at these people, like I look at them, the sales people that are just always winning, that our worst day, is their best day, right? It's always a great day. They're always winning. What are they doing consistently, whether the power is shut off, the internet is down, or they have gig speed fiber? Like, what do they do with their time that I think really, it kind of overcomes the time and space we're in currently? Like, they're not the type of people that say, like, I do this when the market's great, when the weather's good. Like, you work out no matter what the weather is, right? You work out rain, sleet, snow. And in Missouri, the summers are really hot and muggy, and the winters are really, really cold. So what you're doing with your time is really dictated by what you know to be the best use of time for you. And that's the definition of getting back to basics, using your best use of time that isn't dependent on some outside influence.
Shane, I got a question for you. Do you know the average temperature difference between St. Louis and San Diego?
30 degrees.
No, so it's actually the same. So a financial planner told me this once, and he's like, Sean, he's like, do you know what the difference in temperature in San Diego and St. Louis is when you average it over the year? I'm like, I mean, I probably said something like 30 degrees. He's like, no, it's the same. He's like, we just try to make your portfolios look more like San Diego than St. Louis. So it doesn't have the ups and downs.
I love that. Well, listen, let's get into our back to basics. And I wanted to share, and we were talking offline about this, just kind of like the number one thing that I do, that I will always do, no matter like whether I'm running my company, working for a company, I'm a broker, I'm a retail lender, I'm the CEO, I'm doing reverse leads, I'm working on forward business, purchase or refi. The number one thing I'm doing after I've got that lead, right? Because it's easy to talk about, on podcast after podcast, how to generate a lead through Google, how to generate a lead through reviews, how to generate a lead through Facebook ad. Everyone gets excited about that. But the reality is that's not where the money's made. The money's made on the execution of the lead. After you've had coffee with 50 agents, or you've cold called on Monday asking them if they had fun on the weekend, getting a 1% return, whatever you're doing to generate your business, what do you do? Like when rubber meets the road and you have to now convert that person from a lead to a client, or from, in my case, like we call them just a part of the Dwell family. And so for the audience today, I want to share something that I've talked about before. It's been paramount in my business since I started in 2009. I was a fireman, also working in loans. Didn't tell my referral partners or my clients, quite frankly, that I was a fireman, because I didn't want them to like use that against me and go to another lender. And so the number one thing I focused on was a powerful intake conversation. So powerful, I just call them power conversations, right? This is where I make my money. Like, it's not generating the lead. And I'm a vision guy, so I love coming up with ideas. If I'm being honest, I tend to struggle with execution, because vision is way more fun in many cases than execution. It's like, in January, it's like, man, I'm going to hit the gym 4 days a week. I've got a nutrition plan dialed in. People will spend hours going over the vision and then not set the alarm clock for 5 a.m. once to get to the gym. So this is the area where I execute at a high level all the time. And this is where I'm making my $1,000 an hour. And it's that intake conversation. That conversation starts actually before the conversation. It's how I'm prepping the lead or the referral partner for what they can expect from myself and my team, and what's the next step. I do this by, sharing with the referral partner. And typically my leads are coming through a referral partner. Now we do online as well, and we'll get people right in the door. And if they come right in the door and they circumvent that referral partner, it can be easier because I control the expectation setting from the beginning, which can be good. I have a script that my team and I send out. Hey, Sean, we're super excited to be working with you. The first step is to have a phone conversation, a Zoom call, an in-person conversation. And we, selfishly speaking, would love to have these conversations done via the phone or Zoom, because I can get 3 times as many calls done online versus in person. And they get the same impact for the consumer. In fact, sometimes it's better, because the consumer just walks over to their computer in their PJs or to their phone and has a call. So we're setting that up. We use Calendly. So I am militant about my calendar, so that I don't have to be militant about my calendar on the weekends. Like, my weekends are off script and my weeks are on script. And I do that intentionally, right? And so by using Calendly, I have different categories in Calendly. For those of you who don't have it, it's like $12 a month. It's virtually free. It's better than having a VA try to schedule for you. You can integrate text reminders, email reminders. It integrates with Zoom and Teams. It's phenomenal. It's just phenomenal. So my goal is to give the consumer, that lead, the impression that they are in control of scheduling our call. The reality is I have bumpers in place on when they're actually going to be able to do that. So that's, that kind of first part. Now, when I'm working with a referral partner, I'm walking them through those things as well. Hey, this is how my people start working through our system. First, I'm going to give them a custom link to my calendar. I have that for you as well, Mr. or Mrs. Real Estate Agent. And that's step number 1. Now, here's our team email. Here's our team phone number. Here's our team website. Here's my YouTube channel. So I give them all the resources, and then I give them instructions on how to introduce people to me. So once I've done that clear introduction, we're setting the call. And I set 30 minutes for each call. It's honestly really hard to get anything done in 5 to 10 minutes because of the strategy and the tactics behind the call, which you guys will understand. So we get on the phone, and the first thing I say is, I want to set the pace and the tone for the day. I say, hey, Sean, first, man, thank you for reaching out. Jamie is one of, the top real estate agents in our market. And the fact that you're aligned with Jamie is good for you, good for me, great for Jamie. So I love that we're all rowing the same race. This call is going to take anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. This is the most important call you and I are going to have. This is where we set the tone for getting you pre-approved for the most home at the lowest monthly fee that aligns with your short and long-term goals. Is now still a good time for that call? And what I've done is I framed that in a way that, hey, this is the most important call you're going to have today, lead. If you're not fully present, let's reset expectations. And if I hear kids screaming in the background, I respectfully call it out. Hey, Sean, I know you got a couple of kids. Jamie told me, sounds like the boys are really active right now. This is the most important call you and I will have. I want to make sure that I'm fully present and that I can meet you where you are. Is now still a good time? Once they say yes, they have now given, that's the first handshake that we're going to have. We're making an agreement. Now, and what I'll even say to them is, hey, this is really, this isn't the type of call where you want to be doing your napkin notes. And Sean, I'm guilty of getting in the car and taking a phone call. And then I'm scrambling to find a notepad, or I'm taking notes on the phone. And then I get home and my wife asks me hey man, how did it go with the financial planner that's going to invest our millions? And I'm like, I can't remember anything the guy said. I got to call him again. That's not what we want. Once I've set the framework and I'm really framing this conversation, I'm elevating the importance in the mind of the lead. Now I'm walking them through a pre-qual. I'm saying, how did you hear about me? And, obviously you've talked about the referral partner. I'll go into why is now the best time for you to start the process of getting financing? And that's a great way for them to just be able to kind of open up and talk about their dreams. I'll say, what are you looking for in a home? Right. And again, I'm taking a few minutes to just get to know them better. As they're talking, I'm probing for questions about their personal life. My goal is to be able to know this person in 30 minutes better than the agent knows them. I want to know their fears about the process, their goals, their likes, their family structure. Do they have kids? Are they adult kids? Are they kids? Are they in college? Do they have visions for college? What's going to hold them back from getting their kids where they want to go? Right. And as I'm starting to build that out, I'm taking notes in my CRM, right? I'm taking notes for myself, but more importantly, I'm taking notes for my team, because as I pass this deal to my production partner, I don't want them to have to go ask Sean the exact same questions I just did. That's disrespectful. It indirectly communicates to Sean that myself and my team are not on the same page. What most people don't take into account is that there's a lot of nonverbal communication or indirect communication that's happening with you and the lead. And it's so important that you're in control of that process. And then I start pre-qualing them. Tell me about, your job. Where do you work? What do you do? And I'm just going through income, assets, and credit. And as they're telling me things, I'm probing. Hey, Sean, you mentioned that you're at your new job. How long have you been there? What does that mean to you when you say new job? Right. And I'm not being rude, but I am probing.
Well, it's just this new business I just started yesterday and quit my old job. And
Sean. Hey, first off, man, congrats at starting a new business. I have 5. I know how much work that is. Tell me, are you self-employed or W-2'd?
Oh, Shane, man, I'm self-employed, but man, I've got so many contracts.
Yeah, don't worry, man. The money's in the bank, right? Or what they normally say to me is, I don't know. I don't know if I'm W-2'd. And I say, who would know? Do you have a CPA? So guys, what you can't do on $1,000 an hour call is act like it's a $10 an hour call. If you treat it like it's worth $10, you're going to get $10 out of that call. I treat it like it's a $1,000 an hour call. I'm probing. I'm asking questions. I'll say, hey, what does that mean to you? When they say, I have a lot of money in the bank, I'll say, Sean, I've been blessed to work with over 1,000 clients. They all have a different perspective of wealth. What does that mean to you? Again, I'm not being rude. I'm not telling them that $10 in the bank is shit. I'm just saying, what does it mean to you? Then when they say, I've got money in the bank, and I think one of the questions that will typically come up that's hard for people to answer is say, how much money do you have available to put for a down payment? Let's say, I only want to put 50 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand, 100 grand. I say, I understand that there's a goal of for me, Sean, when I'm going to a car lot with my wife, I say, all right, honey, we're spending no more than 40 grand on a car. And then I get there. And then, that leather package and that full length moonroof starts to feel a lot more like what I'm wired for. And then all of a sudden my 40 grand budget is blown out and I'm at 52 grand or 65 grand. Can I afford that? Sean, that's no different than in lending. So what I want to do is make sure that, like I told you at the beginning of the call, I'm going to approve you and qualify you for as much home as you can afford at the lowest cost. So I'm going high and low here. I'm going high on your purchase amount, that goal, that pie in the sky, which is your pre-approval. And I'm going to go as low as I can on that monthly payment through a strategic analysis of rates and programs. If you took every dollar you had available, how much money would that be? If you found like not just a starter home, but if you found your 20-year dream home, how much would you have available? And then they go, oh, well, shoot, dude, like I got like 250 grand in a money market account. I got 6 grand in a mattress and I got 13 grand in a company business that's getting shut down. They open up because people want to share their dreams. They don't want to share their bank accounts. So as I'm going through this, I'm asking questions, I'm probing, I'm taking notes the entire way. I'm also resetting expectations. Anytime I hear something that's outside of my box of like a 4-hour pre-approval, like if they're anything but W-2'd at the same job for 2 years, good, consistent, increasing income, good, stable credit, no red flags, anything outside of that, I'm saying, hey, Sean, like first off, man, congrats on starting a business. I do want to make sure that you and I are on the same page. Going from W-2 to 1099 creates a lot of complexity in the process. Now, the beautiful thing is my company has access to over 500 loan programs. There is one that will allow somebody who is newly self-employed to get a loan. However, and then you start to go through just educating people on what that means. So you're probing and you're setting expectations and resetting expectations. At the end of the call, I'm recapping what we've done. I'm giving them next steps, and I'm telling them who they're going to be communicating with and why. And so it'll go something like this. Hey, Sean, man, first and foremost, I'm super excited. It sounds like from our conversation, we have 3 different like main programs that are going to allow you to hit that goal of buying a $500,000 home max. And I know your budget, you really would like to be around that $400,000 range, but just keep in mind, remember Shane going to the car lot with my wife. I want to make sure that if you have to upgrade, or if you see something that like you didn't even think you could get a home with a pool, and then you found a home with a pool for $425,000, you are educated in advance to be able to make a strong offer. So I really think that you're going to fit into these 3 programs. I walk them through the programs. Then I say, hey, listen, as soon as we get off the phone, I'm going to send you an email detailing out next steps, AKA a script, pre-written. I'm going to CC my production partner, Tony. Tony is like the eyes and ears in this transaction. Tony is an expert at calculating income, reviewing assets, going through credit. Like he is my quarterback. I am the coach. My job really is somewhat behind the scenes. I'm looking at the markets. I'm working with our investors. I'm strategizing with Tony to make sure that we're looking at things for getting you the most money at the lowest monthly cost. Does that sound good? Again, this is another handshake opportunity. They go, yes. So now I've just, in essence, passed the responsibility from myself to my production partner. I've also told them, hey, there's these 3 programs. The last thing I'll do is I'll ask them, hey, I believe that getting a home is a team sport. And I like to include all parties as much as I possibly can. Your agent, Jamie, is an integral part of this transaction. I tend to CC everybody on all like major communication. Are you comfortable with that? And then I wait. And they go, well, and then I probe. Sean, tell me more. You sound like you're hesitating. Are you committed to working with Jamie as your agent? No, not really. Well, maybe, but my cousin's also an agent. And then I'm resetting expectations. And then I'm reaching out to the agent after that call with a summary of the call, how it went, next steps. Did I have to reset timeline expectations? Did I have to change the urgency? What additional clarity? Or is this a 4-hour deal? It's in and out. It's pre-approved. It's day 1 certainty with a potential PIW. Like, is this a green loan, a yellow loan, or a red loan? I'm closing all 3 with different expectations and a different timeline. Now, that, Sean, is me getting back to basics. That's the number one thing I can do in my business once I have some form of a lead. What's really important for people to understand is my competition is not doing that. The online lender, the spaceship company, they're not going to be doing that type of a conversation. They're saying, hey, go ahead and apply online through an automated chat bot. We'll just send you the pre-approval without talking to a human. And that's not my process.
So those are all really good points. Shane, we've been offering those guarantees for a long time as well too. We do a $5,000 guarantee. I think you got to do a $30,000 guarantee in Seattle, but
Probably.
same difference. So we offer a $5,000 buyer's guarantee, a seller's guarantee when they accept our offer. I'm explaining to the person, as the client, as part of my process, why it's so important to get pre-approved and how this is going to help them get their offer accepted. Should they be in a multiple offer situation, which most still are. There's just a few versus 20 offers that are coming in. Unfortunately, most of them are maybe 1,000 or 200 asking, so they're able to get those concessions, and my guarantee matters more. And so what we're working on, we do many of the same things, just a little bit better, but many of the same things that you do there as well too. And what I'm recording videos today. So, what too many people make this process about is they make it about themselves. And Shane, when you over and over again, you were asking people, hey, does that work for you? Hey, how does that sound? And it's the trial close. It's yes, yes, yes. You're getting them to say yes. You're getting them bought into the situation. And so you don't want to spend this 30 minutes, if you have it scheduled, 27 minutes talking about yourself, because the fact is that they just don't give a crap about you. They want the best deal. They want to know what you're going to provide. They want to make sure that things align to work with you. But if you just throw up on them about you, you're missing their favorite subject, which is them. And so, one of the things, I want people to know why they should work with me. But I don't need to tell everybody all the time on why they should work with me. So we're recording a couple of videos today that they're going to be evergreen videos. They're going to be posted right on YouTube. So not only can I share them with potential clients, but anybody who goes to my YouTube channel is going to see them as well too. And it's going to be I'm going to try to keep it under 90 seconds so I can put it into a reel too. I don't think this video is going to be able to be underneath that. It's probably about a 2.5 minute video as I thought it out. But on why they should work with me, what I bring to the table, what my 21 years of experience in the industry does, and how that benefits them. And the video is going to be started with, hey, this is really all about you, but I need to explain how I got to all about you and where I went in my journey so I can make this process be as beneficial for you as possible. And then, as we talk about these back to the basics, you've got somebody who's raised their hand. Hey, I think I want to work with you. Listen, there's lenders that buying trigger leads. They're reaching out to them. They're talking to their buddy about buying a house. They're talking to them about their guy. The realtor, if it's not somebody you're super tight with, they are talking to them about their person. And we know all the money we make in the transaction is in the follow-up. So you've got to set the stage. You've got to put everything together right on the front end. But then, I have weekly calls on my calendar. It's my touch base calls. I want to see what's going on. Every other week, I'm calling the realtors as well on that transaction. Some people say they do it every week. It's fine. Do what works for you. I find that in every other week on a pre-approval basis works a little bit better. It doesn't sound like you're desperate. And especially if things are just moving slower with a buyer, if they're still pre-approved and they're still not back from that vacation that they took when we talked last week. So it's really knowing your audience and understanding so you provide the most value both to your borrower and to the person at the end of that transaction, the realtor that you want to get more and more business from. So you got to have that consistent follow-up. So that way, when you go under contract, you can reference all of those things that happened during that intake call. Hey, here's what we said we would do. Now, I told you I was going to call the listing agent and present your financing. I told you I was going to present the pre-approval to them and your $5,000 guarantee. Man, they love that. That really helped get your offer accepted. Hey, by the way, here's where rates are today. Here's where things are going. Been in an up environment for the last, year in interest rates. Although things have kind of mellowed out lately, I don't want to put you at risk. I think we should lock your loan in. And then setting the table for that, because I want to remind them of all those things. As great as I am, as everything, as much as I've delivered on, there's a chance they're still having other lenders or somebody else talk about another lender in their ear. So I want to reiterate all of those things that we've done to get them to this process. So when they go live, I didn't spend all the time getting them. I didn't spend all the time doing this, and they go somewhere else. You were talking about earlier, like when somebody finds you, and it's great when they just find you. Like I've got a guy who just found us online last week, and he found us because we've got a bunch of reviews. And so that really works well for me, but he's under contract. I've provided zero value for him. And so $800,000 purchase, $600,000 loan. I mean, that's like 3 loans here in Missouri. And so, you know what he cares about? The best deal. He's a doctor. I looked him up. He's actually a neurosurgeon. And the only thing he cares about is price. And you know what? The only thing I can compete on, because he's under contract, is price on that loan. And so not the ideal client that I want to work with, but based on the fact that he wants to close in 2 weeks, I can get a little bit thinner on that deal to make that work. So the more you work people through your process, the more you create that value. And it's not somebody that you just happen to call you after they're under contract. You can definitely win more, provide more, and create a much, much better experience the whole way through. I mean, Shane, we both have pretty amazing client experiences. That's another podcast that we need to do soon on here as well.
That's back to basics, man. Well, Sean, I love that. And guys, just to kind of summarize in closing, there's no right or wrong best practice back to basics. It's what you're good at, you enjoy, and makes you money. These are ATMs. And at the end of the day, if you don't know where to start on setting your ATMs, if you feel a little lost, if you're like in a raft going down the rapids without a paddle, we get it. We've all been there. Sean and I are still in the trenches, originating, managing our companies, doing all the same stuff you're doing. The best thing to start is to get on a coaching call, get on with a coach. It's free. You can go to nlstrategycall.com. That's nlstrategycall.com. And you can get a free call with one of our coaches that will help you just get some clarity around your business and around what's good, your best use of time. Secondly, and I'll close with this, get involved in a huddle, a community, a fraternity of like-minded people. We're in a new era in lending, and this is not going to be the same old game. You've got to be surrounded by people virtually, in person, on calls that are like-minded, that are rowing the same way, and maybe rowing a little bit faster than you to challenge you to row faster. We would love to have you as a member of our amazing community. It's as little as $197 a year.
A year.
I laugh when I say that because it's kind of embarrassing. Like, why would everybody not do that? But again, we get it. Results have to come before payment, and we're happy to do that. Jump on a strategy call, join the community, ask any of our 800 members what they think about Next Level. We love you guys. We know this is going to be your best year, your best opportunities. We're excited for you to get back to basics. We'll see you on the other side.
Peace out, friends.